My parents couldn't pay for it. I couldn't pay for it. God wasn't gonna drop like $1 billion from the sky and pay for it. Like, I had to figure it out. So the past few weeks have been very interesting for me. I saw a tweet from Megan Thee Stallion basically talking about the scholarship that she launched. I believe it ends next month. And a lot of people I saw in the comments were struggling with the essay to the scholarship. So I was like, hey, you know what? Let me offer my help. Well, that got more retweets and attention than I thought it would be, and I got a bunch of people reaching out to me, and I was super excited, one, because I wanted to be able to help, first of all, and then second, during quarantine, like when quarantine first happened, I started making the plans to launch a scholarship mentoring / coaching program to help kind of put a student in the same situation that I was in college, which is that I got paid to go to college, completely covered, and then got refund money that supported a lot of what I'm doing now. I know I've been gone from YouTube for a really long time, but since that happened, I launched 2 businesses, one being my scholarship mentoring program. And so since that has all been happening, a lot of people have been asking me regarding the scholarship help and stuff about my journey and what it took for me to start my scholarship journey. So I wanted to have that conversation and kind of explain what happened for me and how everything was kind of put into place. And the reason why I started planning my scholarship business during quarantine was because I realized for the first time in my life, like, everything around me was chaotic, but I was okay. And growing up, I grew up around a lot of chaos, but I was never really good. But for the first time, like I said, because of the scholarship money that I had, because of how I was able to put myself in a position of success during college. Once I graduated, even though I graduated into a pandemic, I was still good. Like, I had savings, I had a place to stay, everything was fine for me. And then I just started to get a lot more sentimental about, like, wow, scholarships like not only gave me an education, but it gave me the security that I really needed. And I talk about that a lot in my other video of my apartment tour, because that's how I could afford my apartment. And basically, to make a long story short, like, I was just so grateful for my experience. And the one thing that I want more than anything in the world is to just be able to help at least one person experience what I've been able to do as a young woman. And so that's when I began planning the scholarship program, which is Finesse Your Education. And it's showing people that, like, look, you don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be, you know, the smartest person in the world. You don't have to invent the cure for cancer. You don't have to make a time machine. Like, all you have to do is apply yourself, be authentic, be genuine, and know how to tell your story, and you can get people to give you funding to go to school. The most important part of that is learning how to communicate, and that's all that I'm helping people do with Finesse Your Education. So, okay, starting with my scholarship journey. How did I get paid to go to college? What did I do to get that funding? So for me, it all started with a journey of, like, realizing that I had the potential to do it. So there were just certain things in my life that kind of just fell into place, and there were people along the way that just gave me the information I needed to get my shit together, for lack of a better word, right? So I think really it all started around my 9th grade year. When I was a 9th grader, I was a freshman. I got recruited into the STEM program called Upward Bound Math and Science. And this was really crucial in my journey. And honestly, to be so candid with you, I only joined because of the financial gain from that program. They were like, basically, you can go to school at this community college 2 days out of the month, basically every other Saturday, and then we'll pay you to take classes. And I was like, okay, I'm already going to class. I'm already going to, you know, school, so I might as well go to more school and get paid for it. So I joined the program. I wasn't ever really focused on like science or like engineering. Like that was really what the program was geared for. I was really technology based, and there was some of that, but there wasn't a big focus. So I really was kind of like, I don't think I belong here, but I'm gonna stay. And I'm so grateful that I stayed, because once I stayed, they started teaching us not only about like the STEM field, but also about like other resources to get you into college, because that was the whole point of the program, is getting you know, lower income or minority students into colleges. So they helped us like figure out how to apply to scholarships, how to write good essays, how to write a resume, like how to write a CV, which is like the same thing basically, and getting us prepared for that stuff. And it's like, in the classes that I took in school, nobody teaches you that. Like no one teaches you that. So they gave me such valuable information in that program. But even then, I was in that program for 4 years. For the first 2 years, I like just didn't have the confidence to apply for scholarships. I felt kind of like, oh well, I'm not as smart as the kids around me. My grades are good, but they're not amazing. My test scores are good, but they're not amazing. Like what the hell am I, how am I gonna get money? Who's gonna, you know, pay me? And so after 2 years of being in that program, my program director, who I love so much, I never really got the opportunity to like tell her how much like how much influence, like positive influence, she had on my life. But she basically was just so like such a big influence in pushing me towards like realizing that I had the power to go to college. First of all, be a first generation college student, and then second of all, get paid to go. She always told us like, you guys are smart, you guys are accomplished, you know, you have all these tools and these resources. There's no reason why you should not be getting scholarships. And it finally just clicked for me for some reason. And really the reason was I was stressed out of my mind. For me, I was not gonna go to college if like there was no other funding for me. Like my parents couldn't pay for it, I couldn't pay for it. God wasn't gonna drop like $1 billion from the sky and pay for it. Like I had to figure it out. And so finally I was just like, you know what, you're saying that I should get, you know, covered to go to college, I'm gonna believe you. And I just started applying for scholarships. The way they set us up, we were applying for 20 scholarships a month. It took me a long time to fully commit to that, and to like really put my all into it. But once I started like just being like, yes, I'm gonna focus, I'm gonna zero in on this, and I'm gonna do it, I started to realize applying to 20 scholarships a month, you start seeing so many similarities. Like the prompts are the same, the requirements are the same, like you figure out how to find ones that like you know are going to be easier to win, like local versus global scholarships and all of that stuff. And so I had a lot of times I fumbled the bag, but eventually I started like basically understanding the strategy and applying that strategy to different awards. And then I ended up winning. By the time I got to school, I think I had about like 6 or 7 scholarships that ended up covering all of my funding for college. And then once I was in college, I didn't stop. Like I did not stop applying. I was still applying. So I had won about 3 or 4 more awards basically that gave me like a lot of the extra funding. And I did have some, like there was a certain amount of like money that I couldn't make. Like I couldn't make over a certain amount of money to like get over a certain amount. So I was like limited in my approach, which is why I feel like I didn't get as many as I could have, even though I got enough. Like I'm so grateful for what I have. But basically it became a point where I was so confident in myself in winning these awards that like I knew like, okay, I have to like, I can get this award and not pass my limit. You know what I mean? Like I had reached such a point of confidence that I was like, okay, I'll get this one, but I'll step away from that one. And that confidence just came from applying to so many and figuring out a winning strategy that was going to get me the money that I needed basically. Yeah, so that really is my journey, like in a nutshell. Is just like I just happened to kind of meet the right people and be at the right place at the right time. And because, you know, from growing up in my high school in a predominantly minority populated area, predominantly like economically challenged basically, I don't think that's the right word, in a predominantly lower income area. Most of the people that I knew around me, they were so lost in the process of applying for financial aid, in the process of trying to like find scholarships and then applying to those and then writing essays and stuff. They didn't really have like a lot of help, and it was so disheartening to see. And a lot of people were so confused, like, how did you do this? Like, what have you done? And I tried to help as many people as I could then, but it's like I couldn't really see what had worked for me until I was able to take the time to step back and be like, oh shit, like I had to start here and understanding. First it was like fixing my mindset, then it was going through the process and seeing how similar everything was, and then it was like just being so strategic about, you know, okay, I know what's going to work for me. I know what my, you know, competitive advantage is, and then just going and going and going after that. And a lot of it is just a combination of hard work, yes, but also like knowing the system and having like in almost like not really in intelligence, but it's more about street smarts, communicating and being able to convince somebody that you're a good investment. That's not just book smarts, that's like street smarts. And that's why I named the program Finesse Your Education, because it's not about you need to be able to, you know, remember the dictionary from back and forth and calculate numbers in your head and be this like crazy intelligent person to get money. Like, no, you just need to understand who you are, understand how to communicate your story, and be able to clearly put that out to people that are in a position to help you out. And when you're able to show them why you deserve to go to college, like, you just set yourself on a path to getting that funding. Things just start going in your direction, because there's a lot of people that, one, don't know about resources, two, don't know how to clearly communicate like what they want and why they need it and why they deserve it. And so the more that you can just be competitive and push and push and put yourself out there and just finesse, like, you put yourself in such a winning position. And that's what, you know, once again, my goal is just one person, like, take them and show them the way, and like, let's get this money, basically, is the whole goal. So that's just like a quick snippet. I want to get more in depth, but I wanted to kind of encompass a lot in one video, kind of like a big introduction, because a lot of y'all, like, I don't have that many subscribers on this channel. Like, a lot of y'all do not know me, so I want to kind of give a quick run through, and then I'll definitely be updating this channel and updating my socials, so definitely follow. And then also go to finesseyoureducation.com. I'll put all the links below, but I'm working on building up that site. I already have a workshop that's for free. I made it for my sister because I'm putting her on like the same plan that I'm wanting to put like my students and stuff, or I don't really know what to call. I think maybe like my team, whatever. I'll figure it out. But basically I created that booklet for my sister to kind of give her kind of some of the game that I figured out for my journey. And so now I'm giving that out free to everybody that signs up for the site, and then I'll be updating y'all on a bunch of information. But that is everything. Thank you for watching so much. For the two of you who have stayed this far, I'm so excited to continue this journey, and yeah, let's go.